Hello, it's Orlando Caesar with another motivational monologue. I said in an earlier video that there were instances where people felt comfortable challenging me, regardless of my position within the organization and regardless of their position within the organization. They felt comfortable enough that they would challenge me and ask me pretty difficult and pretty hard questions. But my philosophy with my people has always been, you can say anything you want to me. You can challenge me anytime you want. But my rule of thumb was to be gentle with me. And what I meant by that was choose your words wisely. Now, many people who did not report to me did not ascribe to that philosophy. So the challenges would fly furiously. So over time, over my career, I developed what I guess you could call a gunslinger mentality, a gunslinger mindset, which takes me back to days growing up with my father, who you may have heard me say watched a lot of Western movies. So we were always back in the days of the gunslingers and Conestoga wagons and so forth and so on. But invariably, there would be word sent out that a gunslinger was coming into town. And those individuals who felt obligated to challenge that gunslinger would line up. So the gunslinger, with the gunslinger mentality, there are a few points that I want to illustrate about that particular role that they play. First of all, they had to focus on mastery. They had to practice to be the best at their craft because they knew challenges were coming. They also focused on innovation. They had to get better. They had to develop new techniques because they knew there was somebody ahead of them who could be faster, who could have more up-to-date equipment. So innovation was something that the gunslinger probably had in the back of their mind. And there was always experimentation, time where they would step away from the normal routine and practice, relentlessly practice, experimenting with different ways of shooting, with different equipment to ensure that when the moment came, they would emerge victorious. So there was that anticipation as well. They knew it was coming. They didn't know when it was coming, but they had to anticipate that it would come and how would they respond to that particular moment of truth. So you had the mastery, you had innovation, you had experimentation, you had anticipation, and they would build their reputation from their successes. When you do well, when you excel, word will get around. Those among you and around you, they will hear about it, they will see it. Those higher up within the organizations, within the organization will hear, did you know about so-and-so? She's really doing well. He's really doing well. So your reputation many times would precede you to those who are in positions of power or to those who are just competitors who want to see if you are all that, if you are as good as the word on the street says that you are. And then through all of this, you build confidence. Successful implementation builds confidence. When you do things well repeatedly, your confidence builds. As your competence builds, your confidence builds. And so in each of the consequences that you find yourself in, you will do well because you feel it's you. You know you can do it. I could think earlier in my career, we were launching a drug for breast cancer. And in our region, every individual had to stand before everyone in the region and give a presentation. Now, earlier in my career, I guess I did have that gunslinger mentality. So when my turn came, I was walking to the front of the room and I'm thinking, I'm the one you have to watch out for. because it's a competitive environment. I'm the one you have to be concerned about. I sat down, gave my presentation, and as I walked back to my seat, I was thinking, I told you I was the one you had to worry about. Later on that evening, the regional manager pulled me aside and said, Orlando, I want you to know that you gave the best presentation of anybody in the room today. So I thought you should know that. So I was confident. I felt good about it. But then over time, over the years, the last step came in, and that was that humility. You may know you're good. You may know that you excel. But how do you be humble with it? Because as you are humble with it, more people will come to you, ask for advice, ask for input on how you've done it. And so your input, your influence can be maximized if you approach things with a humble state of mind. So although you're a gunslinger, and although you know people are competing against you, you know that in the end, you have to still manifest that feeling of being humble. It's almost like mandatory humility should be a part of your repertoire, because you want to be better yourself, but you also want to make others better. So, one of the things that one of my favorite actors would always say, Walter Brennan was the older guy who played in a lot of the Western movies. And he would say, they would ask him, well, they'll say something and he'll do something, he'll do it well. And he'll tell them, I'm doing this and I'm going to do it well. And he would say, well, no brag, just fact. No brag, just fact. Which is, he knew he was good at it. But that was probably not the best example of humility. But then I could also think about one of my wife's friends, and they would talk to her about being conceited. And she would say, I'm not conceited. I'm just convinced. So when you look at the different points, when you look at mastery, when you look at innovation, you look at experimentation, anticipation, your reputation, your confidence that you've built up, and then your humility, all of this is a part of the gunslinger mindset, the gunslinger mentality. And there's a little gunslinger in all of us. Have a great day. This is Orlando Caesar. Find out more about me at orlandocaesar.com. Have a fantastic day.